Double Take Sports Talk with the Watch Brothers. Thank you for tuning in. I am Daryl. Unfortunately, Darren couldn't join me today for this edition of Double Take Sports Talk. So it's just going to be me breaking down um, tonight's game between the Houston Texans and the New England Patriots. Although I do have Darren's information, he sent his information along to me, and I will share them also on this podcast today. Just to give a quick brief preview for tonight's Houston Texas New England Patriots game. It is a 8:25 kickoff. Um, this is the beginning of Week 3, Thursday night kickoff at Gillette Stadium. They are both 2-0, and they both won last week to their respective matchups. New England won to Miami 31-24, and Houston topped Kansas City 19-12. Patriots, of course, have won 27 of the past 29 games at home, which includes the postseason, and five of the past six regular season contests against Houston. And the Texans are looking to aim to be the first 3-0 start team again since 2012. This would be the first 3-0 start. Excuse me. That's what they're looking for. And of course, just a little brief history information. Bill O'Brien was the assistant coach under the Patriots under Bill Belichick from 2011 to 2011. So, with that being said, um, I am going to go ahead and have our picks for tonight's contest. We're going to start off with Darren. Darren has believed that Houston will win this matchup tonight. Of course, during that last game and pretty much during the season, the Patriots have allowed too many yards per game. And not to mention Houston is on the roll, of course, in which he said. So he believes that New England's defense may not have enough to keep up with the Houston offense with the threat of DeAndre Hopkins and Brock Osweiler. And I agree with him. I am going with Houston tonight. Jimmy Garoppolo, I highly doubt he will start tonight's game with a shoulder injury. Um, he hurt his shoulder, so Jacoby Brissett will make his first NFL start. He made his NFL debut last week, and he completed 6 for 9 for 92 yards and 100.2 rating. Um, and to throw a couple of injuries out there, I'm not sure if Rob Gronkowski is going to start tonight. It looked like he is not, but of course that could change within any time between now and the kickoff. Um, of course, Tom Brady's still on suspension. He will be out for another week. And other than that, the picks between us, we both pick Houston, which would be a interesting matchup because New England's defense, like Darren said, has not been the same. It would have to be high wired to keep for the offense to actually um, keep up with the Houston's defense, and they got J.J. Watt on the other side, and he's just been a potential threat to any opposing team on the offensive side. So he's gonna pretty much give them pretty much crap throughout this whole thing. You can watch the game on CBS, NFL Network, and it will be streaming on Twitter. A couple of stats to keep you up with also. Brock Osweiler, he 41 for 68, 499 yards, 3 touchdowns, 3 picks, and a 79.2 rating. I mentioned Jacoby Brissett already. I will mention it again. He is a rookie. He for 6 for 9, 92 yards, no touchdown, no picks. He has a 100.2 rating. Um, I'm just gonna throw Jimmy Garoppolo's out there. I think he pretty much deserves it because he did pretty good starting in New England's position. He is 42 for 60, 498 yards, 4 touchdowns, and no picks with a 117.2 rating. The running game is more of a concern for both sides. LeGarrette Blount so far this season, 51 carries, 193 yards, um, 3.8 per carry, and I believe that's 2 touchdowns for what I've seen, and that may not be it. And Lamar Miller is 53 attempts for 189 yards, 3.6 per carry, I believe that is. If I'm reading my notes right, that's exactly what it looks like. Um, the defense, on the other hand, um, sacks leader John Simon with 2.5, and that's for Miami, and New England has 3 tied with 1. So this is going to be very interesting. I think also that's going to play a pivotal role for New England if they want to keep up with Houston is field goals with Steven Gostkowski. He is 6 for 6 on point attempts and 4 for 5 on field goal attempts. So this is going to be very interesting on how this works out for New England and Houston. It's going to be about changes for New England and trying to keep up with Houston. That is a wrap for me with this. I am Daryl. Of course, Darren couldn't be with us. Of course, he always thanks us and thanks y'all for listening. And I thank you for listening. Until then, catch up with us on another episode of Double Take Sports Talk. Until then, ciao.